Hello everyone, my name is Morgan Swanson, and today I want to ask you a question. Did you know that the United States is only one of three countries worldwide that have not adopted the metric system? Today, I propose why the United States should transition into implementing the metric system, and to replace the imperial system, that being the system we use currently. When I refer to the imperial system, this is what the United States uses right now, and also Myanmar and Liberia, which are two other countries who still use it, just like us. And the rest of the world, besides these three countries, use the metric system. So, I will talk about the benefits of the metric system firstly. Second, I want to address some common objections to adopting the metric system. And finally, I want to discuss this change and why it's important for us to probably look into it. So, my first point being, the United States and only two other countries are using the imperial system, and adopting the metric system would help improve in many ways, like simplifying measurement and calculation, making international trade and communication easier, and promoting science and technology. Many would argue that this change would be costly and detrimental, right? So let me try and address some of this. Like I said, common objections to adopting the metric system is cost and learning a new system how to measure. So, according to Britannica, whenever this discussion has come up in Congress, the passage of a bill favoring the metric system has been thwarted by bigger business and American citizens who didn't want to go through the time-consuming or expensive hassle of changing the country's entire infrastructure. Also, many believe that the United States should keep its particular system by setting itself apart from other countries, symbolizing its status as a leader rather than a follower. I think sometimes maybe you should do things that other people are doing because it's easier, and I'll get into why. You'll start to understand soon. I really believe that we all would benefit from this change, even though it'd be a little confusing at first, but once we understand metric system, the simplicity of having just one system across the world would make miles, well, I guess in this case, kilometers worth of difference and help and improve our lives. The metric system uses a logic 10 based system, making conversions between units much simpler than in the United States. Making a universally understood structure like this, it also kind of like time. No longer the need to convert from feet to meters, or miles to kilometers, or even the need for two different tool sets. So this being my last topic, or last point, base 10 system, I want to explain what that means. So we all understand how in our system, in this being the imperial system, again, just to keep it clear for you, the 1 foot equals 12 inches, 3 feet make 1 yard, 1 mile equals 1,760 yards, or 5,280 feet. Now that might be hard for you to remember. I know for myself, remembering 5,280 feet is a little bit difficult to understand for how big a mile is, but it's the way it is here in the imperial system. Well, metric actually rather has increments of 10, so that's what I mean by base 10 system. In metric, this would be 10 millimeters, it makes 1 centimeter, and then 10 centimeters makes 1 decimeter, 10 decimeters make 1 meter, and 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. So it makes it a lot more streamlined. You understand, okay, 10 to 1, 10 to 1, and it just kind of goes up a lot more simply. This logic applies to weight. So for the imperial system, it'll start off with 12 ounces making 1 pound, and then 2,000 pounds making 1 ton. In metric, this starts off with milligrams. 1,000 milligrams makes 1 gram, and 1,000 grams makes 1 kilogram. This leads to my other point stated also, the conversion of units between imperial and metric. For example, 10 centimeters makes 3.93 inches, or vice versa. 1 inch makes 2.54 centimeters, and this especially gets annoying when you're trying to do these conversions mentally. It can get quite complicated. Without the two different systems, having two different systems, it would make it so that we would no longer have to deal with this issue. Not only that, have you ever looked at a toolkit with sockets and wrenches and seen that there's nearly an identical set of two? One is fully metric and one is fully imperial. They're so close to being compatible, but they're not. if you've ever worked on cars or just needed a socket set for anything, you'll find that it's really annoying having just the slightest bit off on one side or the other. But again, by just having the metric system being fully adopted here in the United States, we would no longer have to worry about having a different tool set. We would just have metric. So, my concluding remarks. The United States, I truly believe, should adopt the metric system and implement it into our environment, for the primary reasons that communication with other countries in regard to measurement wouldn't be as confusing, and there also would be a universal unit of measurement that we would all abide by. By solving these issues, we would see an easier continuity across the world in regard to measurement and the sciences. There would also be no longer the stigma for the United States that we have an odd system compared to the rest of the world, and I understand the concern with this change. It would be costly, it may be annoying to learn, it may be tough, but I think it would be worthwhile. I really think the benefits that I've listed would be great for our future, and I really think that we should consider it. Thank you for listening.